Welcome to using the new Family Search portal, our search for Kentucky estate records. Okay, well great. So glad you're here. We're going to look at the new Family Search portal and let you see how to get into some of the Kentucky records that deal with estate and settlement records when folks are deceased and the things that are there. So follow me just for a few minutes. You have the URL, which is FamilySearch.org, and you have that in your setting. We're going to start then with looking at the website as it arrives, and this is what you'll see when you first hear Discover Your Family History. Some things we'll look at and talk about later, but for right now I want you to move down to the bottom where it says here Browse by Location. We're going to choose US, Canada, and Mexico. At that point, we will pull up a list of historical record collections, and in this case we're going to be looking for Kentucky records related to probates and estates, so it's alphabetical. So we're going to scroll down in the list. You see other states and other countries in fact listed here. So as we go down, you will find now Kentucky, a list of records there, some of which are highlighted. You'll notice that there is a camera in front of some. That means there are actually images. But in this case, we're going to look at Kentucky probate records 1792 to 1977. So if you'll slide your mouse over to where it says Browse Images and click on Browse Images. Now you're going to see, and the screen will move slightly, that there's a list of Kentucky counties there, and what we will choose is the county that we're interested in. But in this case we're going to click on Warren. The last column here, Warren County. Immediately will show up a list of actual titles, which will be references to specific volumes that have been microfilmed that are available at the courthouse in Warren County, Kentucky, or at the Kentucky Department of Library and Archives, or in this case available online through Family Search. They're also available at the Family History Library in Salt Lake City. You'll see though that because this is a browse that the indexes are not yet meta tagged. It's not where we can type a name and go directly to the record, but yet they're very useful. So let me give you an example and let's look at that. If you'll first look for Will Records Index 1799 to 1813 Volume A, notice that it is a tag. I'm going to click on it. And if you'll notice, the first record that shows up is the actual will book cover, which is kind of interesting. And it will appear. Notice that just above the will book cover, and let's kind of scan the camera here, we're going to find not only the name of the records here at the top, the county, the title of the records, image 1 of 199, but we're also going to see some other information, and we'll talk about that. Now as you look at the record, at some point the system will ask you to sign on, and in this case let me actually pull a record, move back to the center of this, and when I start pulling a record it'll sometimes it'll go on and show you the record, but occasionally it'll say please sign on. And at that point there's a record just at the top up here. As we roll up on the screen it says help or sign in. If we click on the sign in, it'll pop up with a record, and notice that because I have worked in this record before, it has my username and my password is blacked out. If you don't have an account, just go down here to Don't Have a Family Search Account and create a new account. It is free, but it's necessary for you to be able to print the images that we see ultimately. Otherwise I'm going to just sign in, and you'll see it will pop back to the record that we were using, which is the first record of that index. Now above that, and this is in the center of the screen, but again let's pan over to the left at the top of the screen just for a second. you'll see it will say full screen. This will toggle this image back and forth on the screen that you're using. It says zoom. There's a plus and a minus. There's a rotate, which will actually rotate the image to the right. In some cases it will invert. And then further over on the right side of this, and we're going to have to pan the image over again, you will see in that upper right corner up here it says save, which will save this image that we appear to your record. It will print actually what is on the screen at the moment, and we can go forward and backward, so we can go to the next page or back up. Okay, so for the time being, you'll notice that we're on image 2 of 199. What we want to do, this is an index page of surnames, and it begins with A and B. For example, Alexander Adams is on page 9 and 10. If you can't see this clearly though, you can go up here and click on the zoom plus button, and you will see that it actually zooms the record, and it will do this to various levels until it's the size that is useful for you to be able to see the record. So at that point, once you are looking at the names, they're alphabetically, let's look for the will of James Tigert. Now I'm going to unzoom this for just a second, and I want you to be able to see what we're doing. So all I'm going to do is, let's say we can hit the arrow over here, or let's say we want to go to image 15, and let's see how far, and you just put the number and hit enter. Notice that it very quickly moved and it's loading the page, and look where we are. We're on image 15. Here's Rowland, Shipman, Skaggs, Smith, and we want to look for Tigert. So let's just go one more page, image 16. Since we're looking for a T, right? Well, let's see. Here's Stewart's, Taylor's, Hannah Tigert, James Tigert. Will, page 179. Everybody see that? So that means that according to this index, James Tigert's will is on page 179 in volume A, which is the one we happen to be looking in. Now, as we look at this, and one of the first things you want to do is just get familiar, be able to zoom in, zoom out, advance pages, advance images. Once we get comfortable with that, then it's kind of important just to begin to look at what's in each book. So in volume A, we're up to T, and so that means we just advance here. I'm advancing by an arrow, that we go from the Tigerts to the T's, the U's, the V's, the W's. Let's just advance again. We're on image 18. Notice now there's the W's and a Y. It indicates on the top of the next page here that pages 1 and 2 of this book are missing. Can you see that? Let me pan just a little bit to the right. Pages 1 and 2 of this book are missing. Also, page after page 347 are gone. And it indicates that some of these records have been copied from the abstracts that are available. So we're on image 18. Okay, and we're at the end of the index. What we're really interested in is how many pages are in the index, or how many images are in the index. So there's the end of the images on page 19. Notice that this one's blank, so I'll bet that when we go to the next page, I'm going to unzoom, we'll be on the first page of the actual wills themselves. Well, notice pages 1 and 2 are missing, so there's page 3. Well, we wanted to go to page 179, and although in the future we'll be able to actually type James Tigert and maybe go directly to the page, just because the records are there, we can still use them. So there's several ways to do it. we want to go to page 179. Notice that there are two pages per image. Okay. The image also indicated that we were on page 16 on the index, but there are 19 pages in the index itself with some notes. Pages 1 and 2 are missing. So with a little simple arithmetic, page 179 divided by 2 equals 89.5. There are 19 images of cover, index, and notes, so add 89 to 19. This equals 108. Okay, so depending on the page you want to go to, divide it by 2, then add the 19 pages. This is only in book A, by the way. So in this case, we're going up here to where it says image, and based on our mathematical calculation, we're going to enter 108 and hit enter. Now hopefully that took us to page 179. Okay, so there we are. There's the will. Let me zoom in again. There's the will of James Tigert of the County of Warren, Commonwealth of Kentucky. And we can use the tools now at the top of the page by determining the records that we want to look at everything. So take a chance, find the will, and we'll look at how to print it, how to zoom in, how to zoom out, and we'll actually look at this record a little more closely. Talk to you in just a few minutes. Thanks. Thanks for being here for this session, and I hope you'll stay tuned for the next using the new Family Search portal, Kentucky Estate Records. We'll learn how to print those pages, save those pages, and we'll learn a little more about James Tigert's will. See you next time, and thanks for supporting the Southern Kentucky Genealogical Society Learning Center.